Hello. Getting ready for a call with DEVA girl. Lots of notes.
There it is. All right.
Hello, this is Stephanie Merrill. Hi, Barry. Good to hear from you. How are you? Yep, this is perfect. Hi, Kim. So it's just me over here. My husband's with me, but it's just me on the line, not on speaker or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Okay. That sounds great. I do appreciate that. You know, obviously, if you've seen my messages, you understand that, you know, this really isn't just about me. And you might be wondering why, you know, I would choose to advocate sort of on behalf of so many other people. And I want to just explain sort of I know you guys feel the responsibility toward the curly girl, and I feel that as well on a very personal level because of, you know, the sort of influencer that I've made myself. I consider myself more of an educator, but by being an educator, you become an accidental influencer. And, you know, having started out my channel in January on YouTube and came out the gate telling everyone to use DEVA Curl, I feel very responsible, and I have been reminded that I am responsible by people online as well. You know, to say, I purchased this because of you, I feel, you know, I'm very empathetic, and I feel that very, very intensely. So although this is something that I really don't have time to have on my plate right now, I want you to know it's extremely important to me, more so for others and for their sake, and from the stories that I've heard than from my own issues, which I'm sure I could cope with in time, you know. So I just wanted you to know that. Okay. Okay. Great, I appreciate that. Okay. Great, and yeah, I mean, it really wasn't until I experienced this myself did I even really pay attention to anything else anyone else was saying. So I definitely have, my own story could be sufficient for explaining really what I believe to be going on and get your perspective on that as well. But I'll tell you sort of how I came to realize that I even had an issue. Been very busy and I don't focus on my hair very much because I'm so busy fixing everybody else's problems. I'm sure the stylist, I think that Mike said that Kim is a stylist as well. Yes, we don't realize that we're broken. So basically I chopped off all my hair about 2 inches short last April of 2018. I was growing out an undercut and I had done a lot of bleach damage and decided it was time to get a fresh start and also grow that out together. And so, it was like that my hair became like my baby, and DEVA Curl I always believed was the very best. I did the DEVA Curl certification in Soho a few years ago, and that was the first product I ever used on my curly hair, and I totally drank the Kool-Aid and stuck with it because I believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And my hair was doing super great. Really, I decided to use Low Poo Delight as my cleanser, and that's because me personally as a stylist and from my scientific understanding of hair is that porosity is really what's important when choosing like what you're figuring out what your hair needs rather than curl pattern, especially in a world where a lot of people are mixed in a lot of ways. I found that the needs of the hair not always correlate with the curl pattern, and I don't think that you need heavy products to have healthy hair. So I kind of narrowed down my product offering to the Delight line pretty early in my career once that came out, and I was having amazing success with it on all of my clients and myself. And I do specialize in everything from what I like to call swavy to very, very, very tight small coils. So for my hair though, I was using Low Poo Delight. I started to realize, oh my gosh, this is so great for my hair. I don't even need conditioner and styling product. And I was really like showing off. I have many videos, they're private right now, kind of showing off, hey, look, my hair air dried with nothing in it. It's like I'm a little kid again. This is what healthy hair can give you, which is a very strong sell for people. I've always considered styling products to be more like outfits rather than solutions, and conditioner to be very similar in that it adds weight and softness, but I don't think it should be a necessity. I think shampoo is the diet. That's sort of me as my foundation as a stylist. So it was working really great for a few months, and then I started to have, as it grew out, the back was getting very tangled. Fun fact, I'm like two different people as far as my hair goes. Ears forward, I have very tight coils, and ears back, I have high porosity, big curls. And so what's interesting is that those two different parts of my hair are impacted differently by products. Because the tight coils that are naturally lower in porosity surround my face, I was a lot more focused on that than the back of my hair. I used to just say like, I can't see it, it doesn't exist, who cares? Then it became unmanageable. So it was less about, oh, the curl patterns are different, but who cares? It's, it's harder. I sleep on it, it doesn't look great in the morning, but I'm all about like, accept what you have. So I was always trying to send that message. And it wasn't until I noticed a huge change in the health of my hair rather than just the curl pattern that I became concerned. The things that I noticed initially were an increase in tangling, both wet and dry. And this is years back. The front of my hair was still doing great. It was increasing in porosity, meaning that I noticed a lot more moisture absorbing in the front of my hair. I also noticed the curl pattern getting bigger in the front of my hair, which indicates more moisture as well. And I'm also aware that an increase in moisture can be caused by a larger opening in the cuticle, which would increase absorption by the cortex and increase the amount of time that the cuticle is open, and that bonding to form a larger curl pattern can happen. So, but the back of my hair, which was already very big and porous curls, got to a point of tangling so much that I couldn't see a curl pattern in areas. This was especially happening in the area above both of my ears, sort of this inner area. I decided to blame it on too much moisture, blame it on the fact that that area of my hair is sandwiched by the hair that's above it and the hair that's below it, and that we don't focus on it enough, maybe with shampoo. Maybe it wasn't getting clean enough, it had too much natural oils. And more moisture did not solve the problem. In fact, trying things like melt into moisture made it significantly worse. One moment, sorry. We're in the clubhouse because I have bad reception in our apartment, and I think someone turned on this music instead of the gym. Anyway, okay. That's why I have my husband here, problem solver. Okay. Anyhow, so I didn't know what was going on. I even like made a video kind of showing it, and even said, like, the title of it was like, even as a hairstylist, I can't figure some things out. Like, I admit when I don't know what's going on, and because other people were experiencing this too, I didn't want to like make up an answer to a question if I didn't, like, wasn't confident in the answer. But instead I just shared that, like, I'm experiencing this too, just so you know. I just want to show you that, you know, I'm going to try to figure it out, basically. Oh, that is distracting. So I'm going to try to figure out, and I really dug into trying to not think about what I'm told to think and really try to form conclusions based on what I understand about the hair in a scientific way. So why would my hair be tangling so much? Why would it feel rough to the touch even when it's dry? Why would it tangle up even when it's dry? I've never had this experience before, and I hadn't changed products. So I was receiving a lot of pressure from, I attributed it to too much moisture. And I had been receiving a lot of pressure from my subscribers on YouTube to try different product lines, and I had always refused because I said I'm not an influencer. I don't have time to try other lines. What I use already works for everyone. Like, I'm here to educate you on your hair, not on product. And then because my hair wasn't doing so well, I decided to give other products a try, and that's when I realized that simply a change in product started to make those problems go away. Now, they didn't completely go away. I switched to another brand, and it was their curl line, a professional brand, Bumble and Bumble from New York. I had experience with them. I have taken their classes, and I like the products, but they weren't as moisturizing as DEVA curls, and they were more expensive, so I never chose to really focus on selling or carrying them. But I decided to try them first because I did at least have some background in it, and it was better, but it wasn't healing quickly. It was just not getting worse, I would say. And I think that the silicone that's in those products was helping to conceal the problems a little bit, because it does act as a sealant. I didn't experience any buildup from using it because of those silicones. I just felt like my hair was at least looking a little bit shinier and healthier. And I stuck with that for a little bit, and then I live in Miami. I work in Orlando for about a week every 4 to 7 weeks, and we stay at my parents' house, and the last time I had been there, I had gone to Cosmoprof and to pick up products, and I brought my Bumble and Bumble shampoo with me, but the only conditioner I had was a brand new Melt Into Moisture, which I had been waiting for about a month. It was on back order for a while. I wasn't given a reason why it was on back order for so long, but this was a recently purchased bottle of back bar size of the Melt Into Moisture. So although I know that my hair can have the right shampoo and not use conditioner, I think I like to say we're like conditioned to condition. I was like, okay, well, let me just put a little bit on. And I took a little bit of the Melt Into Moisture, and I put it mostly just through the top of my hair, like ran it through the canopy down, And when I did that, it felt soft, obviously, when it was wet. Got out of the shower, towel dried my hair a little bit with my t-shirt towel, and immediately I was seeing crazy strand separation, like the hairs repelling each other. I didn't really have time to rewash. Went about my day, it dried, even more of a mess. And the next day I rewashed with just the Bumble and Bumble shampoo, no conditioner, and it was significantly better. So this is when I started to figure out, like, is it the products or is it a moisture thing? Still not really totally sure, but I didn't think conditioner should make my hair worse, especially if when it dries, it feels rough and dry to the touch. That indicates that it needs moisture. So it's very confusing. It's like, is moisture causing my dryness? It doesn't really make sense. And it was confusing, you know, other people as well. But I went straight to calling it over moisturization. Everyone's screaming at me, hydro fatigue, or protein, like all these sort of, like I studied advertising and marketing at University of Florida before I went to hair school. And that's what really my expertise is in academically. And I kind of understand the viral nature of these hot words now, and they become facts for people, even if they don't fully understand them. Like you turn something into an infographic and suddenly it's like the truth, and especially if it goes viral in these Facebook groups. So there's all these hot words in the curly community that like I've done my best to try to understand so that I can try to give people really a professional breakdown of them. Hydro fatigue's definition from my research is from the cuticle opening and closing too often. I know that I don't wet my hair fully often, so that really shouldn't be something that I'm experiencing, especially only in these odd certain areas of my hair. So that's when I started to think more about the cuticle and the way that it feels if it doesn't close and it doesn't do its job, what happens to the hair. So I touching my hair strands and paying attention to the hair that's coming out in the shower, and it felt rough to the touch, whereas the hair strands that had access to the natural oils coming from my body, which is the hair all around my nape and also a little bit around my hairline, was not I was not having the same feeling, whereas the rest of my hair that didn't touch the natural oils of my skin was becoming worse and worse and worse. And so those areas were spreading to no longer being just above my ears, but also the entire canopy, top of my head, crown area, progressively getting worse and significantly worse from that one time using Melt into Moisture. Like, it seems like it was like taking 100 steps back. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but that's what happened. That was my experience. So I stopped using all DEVA Curl products at that point, except for the styling products. I was still using I used to not need styling products. At this point, I needed to use styling cream and super stretch in order to leave moisture in my hair and create control and fake basically the health of my hair at this point. I'll be completely transparent with you, I had gone lighter a few months beforehand during the use of still using DEVA Curl. I went lighter, and then I used 10 I'm speaking to a stylist here, I know, so 10 volume developer, no foil, no heat. And I'll tell you, I've been white blonde before and my hair did not feel like this. And I did that with foils. So, you know, as a colorist, I knew that it was not the color that caused the problem, but still it looked so bad that I went dark. And I just did 5 volume Demi. I used Joico Lumishine, which I've had in the past amazing results with it making the hair shinier and kind of putting a seal on it if the hair was dry. I used a NV and it pulled dark purple. And this indicated to me something is severely wrong with my porosity, that it's behaving, like grabbing the way that it did when my hair was white blonde. It shouldn't be damaged like that. So I kind of collected data, right? Like all of these things that I've explained to you, like I don't jump to conclusions. I'm really careful to not do that, especially with such a huge audience of people like following my words and believing what I say, but also questioning every single thing that I say as well, especially when it's different from what the rest of the internet has been drilling into their brains. So the conclusion that I've drawn from these things oh, well, I haven't moved into the scalp yet. So once I decided that I think this might be an issue with the cuticle's not closing even when it's dry. I also noticed that the back of my hair where it felt like that, the dark hair color I had done was fading extremely fast, whereas the coils around my face stayed dark. This indicates to me that the sun and other factors are pulling the color out much more quickly than what typically would happen for my hair. And then also my clients, when I went back to Orlando that same week that I used the Melt Into Moisture, clients that I had for years using the same products, coming back with their hair looking just like mine, where it was only healthy around the hairline and also in the root area where the natural oils from the scalp are closer to it. Those that did not have any artificial color in their hair were experiencing a lightening of their natural color, primarily throughout the mids and ends of their hair. And then all of the other characteristics that I was experiencing as well. So, and then what I noticed on them that I had not yet noticed on myself, perhaps because I didn't want to, was a major decrease in density. It almost looked like they had postpartum hair loss. I've had clients with postpartum and the recessions, and then all around the hairline is where it's the most severe for these clients that I saw who do not have children. And also just consistently throughout the entire hair, a loss in curl pattern in the root area, looking like it's almost like looks like there's a lot of growth patterns, like the way, around a swirl, kind of like the hair lays down on the scalp and swirls. That was also happening, which kind of, made it even easier to see the difference in scalp density. Also, a lot of breakage. I do visual shaping of curls completely dry, completely visually, meaning like I can see a silhouette and I can cut it into the hair. Typically, these haircuts have looked good for my clients for upwards of a year. And there was so much breakage that it caused unevenness in the haircuts much more prematurely. These clients don't use heat. They don't do anything that should damage their hair like this. And I ask those questions, of course. So if the cuticle's not closing, then I need something to help it close. I was at Cosmoprof and looking around for something else to try and saw that a line called AG had a natural line that's apple cider vinegar focused, but from reading the label, it just talked a lot about cuticle health and improving the function of the cuticle. So I bought the shampoo and conditioner, and I bought the styling products, and after one wash day with only that line of products, my hair started curling at the root. From root to end, it was curling again. Everywhere except for the parts of my hair that were the worst, they were still in recovery a little bit. And when your roots curl, they separate, and that is when I saw my scalp. And I guess I had sort of noticed it a few months earlier when I was able to put my hair up for the first time, and I just figured it was because my hair is curly, and I sort of used my fingers to kind of comb through the recessions of my hair and fill in the gaps. Like it just didn't occur to me I could possibly have lost hair. My hair was so dry and fluffy that it seemed so dense, and it wasn't until it became not a giant tangled mess that I realized how fewer curls I had, how easily I could touch my scalp from the outside of my hair, how like just patting down and like feeling my hand there so easily, and also holes in my haircut from breakage and little flyaways, so little broken hairs throughout the top of my hair that I could see both when wet and when dry, if not controlled by styling product. So I will tell you my theory of what's going on here. And my story is not unique. And unfortunately, I'm lucky I started out with a lot of density. So I won't get into other people's stories, but I'll tell you that mine's definitely not the worst of it. And so what I believe is going on is a pH imbalance in the product. I can only speak on my behalf for the Delight line and Melt Into Moisture. believe that the cuticle not closing results in loss of moisture, that results in a rough to the touch feeling, that it also causes increased risk of breakage. And then as far as the scalp goes, I also noticed acne on my scalp and a extreme tenderness of my scalp. This indicates alkalinity. Alkalinity will cause swelling of the skin and scalp. It also causes loss of the protective natural oils that give us a barrier from bacteria. That bacteria would cause acne and dandruff, both of which I experienced. And with time, hair loss. So that is pretty much, I think, my story as far as that goes. I have done about 4 or 5, I think, wash days with the new products, and my hair does continue to improve. Obviously, it did not restore my density or my length, but I am coping with that, and I am hoping just that we can figure out what's going on and stop this from spreading to more people if the products are the cause. End.
Are we good? Are we good to work?
You know we're recording.
Okay. As long as it doesn't bother you.
We're recording everything that you're saying right now too, just so you know.
Oh,